Hey, what's going on, guys? All in channel. Hope Sega forever. Um, yeah, it's been a long time since I did an all-in box video, but I thought I'd put one out for you guys, mainly because I wanted to test this recording software that I use from Microsoft. It's kind of limited, but it gets the job done. The only problem I'm having with it is downloading, or actually uploading, the videos to YouTube. It takes a long time, so I'm trying to keep it short. I actually like the recording software. It's actually pretty good, but it's probably not the most optimal. So if you guys have any suggestions for some recording software that I could look at getting, because ultimately with my kids getting older and they're doing more stuff at home, but also they're growing up in their they're coming they're going to be graduating in a few years and stuff like that, and it's interesting a lot of the stuff that they need, which the school doesn't provide, which is fine. But if you guys can give me some suggestions on some recording software that you guys recommend, that you guys use all the time, yeah, I really appreciate it. But for now, this is what I have, and this is the quality of the videos that I do, and you guys should know that if you guys are subscribed to my channel. But again, all in-box video for you guys, something that I don't see a lot of people talking about, or talking about it um, not in great detail. And I'm not going to get into too much detail. So like I follow Xbox On. Highly recommend you guys follow that channel as well. They do a lot of these videos where they talk about what's coming to Game Pass, what's leaving Game Pass. But I think what gets missed in the mix is the perspective of a gamer. Um, if you guys find the things that if you guys are subscribed to me, probably we have the same taste in games. So just a couple things I wanted to point out, because one thing that I did last month, I wasn't paying attention, or was it last week? Well, anyway, in the last slate of games that were set to leave Game Pass, and kudos to Microsoft because they kind of give you a heads up, like at least a couple weeks. And I had gotten busy and I totally forgot about Falconeer, which I thought I owned initially, but I did not buy it. And the sad thing about it was in the list of games um, that was leaving soon, and I think it was on sale for $15.99 from $29.99. Because the way Game Pass works, guys, is, and I say this a lot because I want people to understand this, is it's not free. You're paying a subscription, and if you factor in the cost every month, right, this is why a lot of people, or some of the people that I know, specifically, will not get Game Pass because they don't feel like they're going to get their bang for the buck. And I totally understand that. I mean, they make the same type of choices with Disney Plus versus Netflix, or Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN versus Netflix, any type of subscription service, HBO Max. Um, where you get your worth out of that, if you're spending your money on it, is how often you use the content. Perfect example is Amazon Prime. I just watched 2 movies on there. Tomorrow War, which is awesome. I really liked it. And again, this is a streaming service type of quality. Before it being a streaming service type of quality, even though Chris Pratt was attached to it, I really just enjoyed the movie. Something that you can plug and play, sit in front of your TV on the couch, especially if you have a higher end television, or even a high end hookup, like it's the full surround sound and everything like that. It's a movie definitely worth watching. Also, the fact that the streaming services have gotten better in the streaming. I've upgraded my internet. Um, I've actually bought better routers and stuff like that. So the benefits of it is I'm taking full advantage of it. And when I watched that movie, I was just really blown away by it. The other movie I watched was Monsters of Men, which is a great movie as well. Highly recommend. A little bit long, kind of drags out towards the end, but it's definitely worth watching. There's a lot of stuff in that movie. You can tell that the writers and the producers were trying to push a message of AI and stuff like that, which I thought was interesting. Not trying to shove it down your throat, but trying to get people to think about the dangers of artificial intelligence and things of that nature. But it wasn't preachy, it wasn't overboard. It is still a good time. A lot of suspense, a lot of drama. It kind of, like I said, it gets a little bit long-winded at the end, and then some of the characters get a little bit annoying, right? But the overall movie was solid. I really liked it. But yeah, these streaming services, man, you're paying for them. And the key for Game Pass, and I've said this in other videos, is that Game Pass needs to get to the point where it's, and I think it is right now for the most part, where people don't think about it. Kind of like your Netflix subscription when Netflix was a lot cheaper. They keep on raising their prices, and this is why you see them getting drop-offs and their stock falling. But they're willing to take that chance because they're trying to grow their service through other ways. I wouldn't recommend it personally. I think it's better for them to find a solid, a more affordable price point. Because if they're going to do that, and then when the economy starts to shift, that's where you're having a problem. And I think that's what Microsoft has over most people, and not because of Microsoft money, just the way that they're handling Game Pass right now. It's a fine balance, And I think there's other things they could do to give it more value to make it bulletproof, but I'll talk about that in another video. But getting back into the point of this video, so as you can see here, Touhou Luna Nights. If you like side-scroller action games in the vein of oh, what's the name? See, I had it on the top of my head. I forgot. I'm so sorry, I forgot the name of the game. But it's a side scroller, it's an action adventure, but it also offers a little bit of the play mechanics that are a lot different that stand out from your average side scroller or platformer. It has those type of elements in it, but there's just something a little unique about it as far as the way the gameplay is and the story. And the story is pushed forward from the gameplay because there's a mechanic in there that allows you to reverse time, which other games have that same mechanic, but the way that they do it and integrate it into the fighting system and stuff like that. Um, I find it a great game to play. A little bit frustrating for me because I'm older, man. A lot of you younger guys will probably do a lot better than I am. I just don't got the reflexes that I used to, which I find out with a lot of these platformer games. As I found out the hard way when I was trying to play Psychonauts 2, I definitely lost a step. Um, that's what age does to you, man. So, but highly recommend this game, dude. I mean, it's very fun. It's really easy to play. I didn't put in enough time in it like I wanted to, and that's why I actually purchased it. So, keep your eye out on games that are leaving Game Pass because it's easy to get caught up on all the stuff that's coming out. Um, there's a lot of excitement every time uh, Game Pass announces new releases. Man, this is just not cookie cutter garbage bin stuff. Man, a lot of these games are AAA. A lot of these games are AA. A lot of these games are really solid and they stay in for a long time, which is kudos to Microsoft. I don't know how their business model is. Um, but one of the things that happens, and I can tell you this as a Game Pass owner, as an Xbox guy, with a huge library of games in a back catalog already, and Game Pass is another thing to add to that back catalog, which I'm not complaining. I've been happy to deal with it. I mean, it's not rocket science by any stretch of the imagination. Um, but it is something that people have to keep in mind. And I'm only sharing this with you because if you played this game, and there's a couple other games in there that you might have played, this one I'm focusing on because this game I was really looking forward to playing throughout. But I got caught up in other stuff, like Rainbow Six Siege, Halo 2, even though I complain about it on Twitter. And I don't complain about it just to hate on it. I'm complaining about it because I'd like to see the game get better. Because it could be like superb. It could be like a 10 if they could just fix little things with the mechanics and stuff like that. And I know they're working on it, pandemic and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully it comes sooner than later, in the next couple of months, especially because this will affect the actual game and what. It's sad to see them put all that work in and then they lose their user base because of the little issues that they're having. But you get caught up in all these different games, and that's why Xbox guys get a lot of crap from other console guys who prefer other consoles. That we have all these games, but I mean it's a great problem to have because yeah, we don't get to get through all of them, but the fact that you have them, right, is I'm not complaining at all. It's well worth the trouble. But I'm showing you guys this video to let you guys know, to keep on top of this kind of stuff. You're gonna have to. I hate to say that it's become a job. It's not that bad, but you're gonna have to pay attention, right? Because you're gonna end up missing out, like I did with the Falconer. Now I'm still gonna buy the Falconer, but there's just so many games coming out that I'm trying to give my time to. And I'm talking about like Cyberpunk just dropped with a new update, and they allow you to play it for free this weekend. And so what I did is I downloaded the game. It took a while. But with all the upgrades and everything, and it looks amazing on the X. I don't know how I slept on this title. Probably because I heard so much bad stuff about it and I was just distracted by other things. But I'm glad I did download it. And then right now the game's on sale. I think it's like 50% off. And it's definitely, from the little that I played, aside from the fact that if you're a parent and you share your games with your kids, it's definitely not a game that you want to share with them. I mean, I should go without saying. It's basically reminding me of Grand Theft Auto in the future, is what it feels like to me. A little bit more detail, a little bit better. I love the world. The characters, even though they're a bit basic and stuff like that, I mean, it does give you that cyberpunk feel, which is what the game is supposed to do. And the shooting, yeah, it's a little bit scratchy for a person who likes shooters, but it's nothing really bad. It wouldn't stop me from playing the game. The driving is a little bit takes a little bit getting used to, but it's not supposed to be forced. So, the little gripes that people had about it. To me, they're little, but to gripes that people had about it, maybe they bother you and stuff like that, but for me, it did. And so I'm definitely going to be probably purchasing that game. So that's why I got to hold off on other games. Um, just for the sheer fact that I would like to get into some of the games I had. I just started playing Scarlet Nexus. Again, still playing Halo. I started, man, which game? I got like 3 or 4 games in rotation right now that I try and play through. Which again, I'm not complaining about. It's a good thing to have. And when you hear people complain about stuff like this, like hating on it, and I'm not talking about the guys that I know that are choosing not to do that because again, they treat this like a subscription service, Game Pass that is. But when you hear the haters out there, you guys know who they are. You see them on Twitter all the time. Complaining about stuff that when I was growing up as a gamer, I would only dream of doing. If I had the funny thing about that is I didn't have the money back then, um, but I had the time. And I'm not saying that I was poor or broke, but I'm saying, you just can't buy every single game, because these games back then were $60, $70 in some instances. Plus, I was a multi-console owner, so I had to be a lot more pickier. But now that I'm just focusing on Xbox, which is one of the main reasons that I am in Xbox channel, the reason I'm focusing on Xbox is so that I can afford the extra controllers, like the Elite controllers, or buy the games, whether it be hard copy, digital, or both sometimes, because I want the collectible stuff, right? That gives me more options. And Game Pass, that's the great thing about Game Pass, which people talk about, but I don't think they relay the message in the way that it should be. That it's a value that goes beyond just not having to pay $60, $70 games. It's a value that you get that you can incorporate if you're a gamer, right? That you can incorporate in your daily gaming lifestyle, right? Like having the choice to choose, like Touhou Luna Nights. I mean, it's only in a sense I think it's like $29.99 or maybe $19.99 when it came out, right? But you can play the game and go through the game, and then maybe there's a game that you wanted that you're gonna pay, and then you pay for that one, play this through Game Pass. Something else comes up, you gotta deal with that, and then by the time it comes out, it's like you said, I'm saving $3.60, which aren't some people might think is not a lot, but again, it just gives you the options, man, to like anything else with your money. Options is always a good thing, and kudos to Microsoft for doing that. I think that's one of the powers of Game Pass. This is why it's so appealing to people, right? Because it gives people options. Not everybody are hardcore gamers, and not everybody are casual gamers, And then some people, it's a mix, and that could be due to lifestyle, economy. Economy is really bad. I'm going to be posting stuff on my Twitter. It's really for me actually, for analytical purposes, but. I posted out to Twitter to put out for everybody to realize what's going on, but the economy right now is not good. And when I say not good, I mean just the spending power or the power of your dollar and stuff like that. So kudos to Microsoft for thinking ahead. And I'll do a video just talking specifically about that with Game Pass and the purpose of Game Pass and how it helps the gaming industry. Because if Game Pass fails, man, I honestly just a little preview, a little sneak peek of this video that I'm going to do. If Game Pass fails, um, I think gaming's in trouble. And that's a video for another time. But anyway, if you guys love Game Pass and you guys get caught up in your backlog of games and your backlog of games on Game Pass, and you guys, don't sleep on, leaving soon category. You can find it on your Xbox. You can find it on the Game Pass. You can find it on the PC. That's where I found this. Um, Perusing through my PC, Xbox.com on the PC. Yeah, don't sleep on that because you're gonna miss opportunities. Because sometimes even these games are as much as 50% off, which could be an indicator of how well they did on Game Pass. Like for example, Falconeer I think was like really cheap. And an indicator for that could be because when it came in, it was like a first generation Xbox Series X game. Looks amazing, plays amazing. Because I have played it. And what it is that it comes in and people bought it off the jump, which was good for I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's what it looks like to me because you get for like 50% off. A game like Touhou Luna Nights might have got lost a little bit in the mix. It's definitely an old school vibe. It's definitely a nostalgic type game, but don't sleep on this, man. The only thing I could see that would put people off on this game is the difficulty level, which you see a lot with a lot of people, like the games that people put up as some of the greatest games, and then people don't buy them. One of the reasons why is because it's not made for more casual. This will definitely challenge you. Not hardcore, but I mean it would help if you played this type of game before. So if you spend your money on it and it's a game that you like, maybe you like the graphics or you kind of like the gameplay, but then the difficulty level is a little bit too hard. You see it all the time where people can't progress and they feel like they're wasting their money. But this is the power of Game Pass. Game Pass allows you to try these games. Like Hebot says, Hebot, the world's most powerful game. It's a glorified demo system, right? Demo disc system like we had back in the day. Way more better than that, of course, but at its core, that's what it is. which is good, and that's not a bad thing, right? Because it allows you, again, options. But anyway, let me know what you guys are playing, and let me know if you guys have any recommendations. These are the type of games that I like. Again, a little bit older, man, a little bit slower, but it's still fun. And the nostalgia level for me when I play these games, regardless if I'm good at it or not. And even though there might be some hiccups in the gameplay and stuff like that, it's not bad. And it just takes me back to a different time, man, when games like this ruled the consoles, man, when gamers were gamers. And I say that tongue in cheek in a way, but I mean, just being honest. Um, we play the games for the sake of playing the games. Anyway, wow, 15 minutes, didn't mean to go on that long. Sorry, guys, I'll work on that. Wish I had editing software, but I don't. But give your recommendations down below if you can. Anyway, all in channel, host take it further. We out.